episode. Open relationship to no relationship. Why cheat? Okay, like why? Like absolutely why open your relationship up to cheat? So the reason why that episode is named that is because the whole, I guess, premise of stepping out or I guess seeking comfort elsewhere has become so common these days that it's just super unfortunate. Actually, it's very unfortunate because no one actually likes for another person to like break their trust and to actually step out or to actually even emotionally step out with someone else to, I guess, seek whatever they may be seeking. So the premise of this episode is kind of just to talk about those various reasons why, you know, a person may actually just kind of step out and, you know, do that form of cheating. So for me, if a person steps out or wants to kind of, you know, seek comfort elsewhere, I think it doesn't start physically, right? Like it starts off with that friendly emotional type stuff, like, you know, the text messages. I know we were talking about this in previous episodes when you send those little friendly emojis in the morning, like, hey, how you doing? You know, how's your day doing? Stuff like that, which slowly rolls into what you're wearing, you know, like what we're doing tonight and stuff like that, which rolls into, okay, let's go out and do something. So to me, I think it's just levels to it when it comes to like that thing. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. But I also will say that sometimes cheating doesn't always start off with, you know, the whole text message thing. Yeah. You know, that's kind of like building a relationship with someone that you either spending time with, like say for an example, coworkers, you know, you kind of spend time with that person and over time you start off with those, you know, little small innocent text messages. But there are some times where it could just be sexual frustration that's been pent up or whatever. And you're out one day, you're out night, you know, what they say in the night atmosphere or the nightclub or whatever. And, you know, you get a couple of drinks in your system, maybe the other person gets drinks in their system, and then they just go right at it, you know? So it doesn't always have to be the innocent buildup, but based on the innocent buildup, absolutely, it starts off just like that, and it can be as innocent as possible. But if you let it go on too far and too long, then that's when it starts to go over into the gray area.
Yeah. Yeah. That gray area becoming hot and fast, though. They do. They do.
For some folks, it ain't gray. They know exactly what they're doing. They're not innocent. They are sneakies. And they just, you know, want to have their cake and eat it too. You know, you've used this term before, Josh, and you know, people just want to have their cake and eat it too. So yeah, I think in many cases, I don't think it's innocent most of the time. You know, it's intentional. Oftentimes it's motivated by maybe some area of unfulfillment that has gone unaddressed for whatever reason. Now, it's varying reasons why it might not be addressed, but something is missing. And they're either looking for that easy answer and just starting over with a brand new person, opposed to, you know, working through and fighting to figure it out. Or they're just, like I said, they're just intentionally just greedy and just like, whatever, this person is not fulfilling me here, I'll just get it somewhere else.
Yeah. But what about those situations where, you know, even before a person decides to step out, they have that conversation with their partner or whatever the case may be, and that conversation didn't go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't, like nothing changed. So if you have that conversation with somebody and either they didn't get it or they didn't change whatever that action is, does that give you a license to cheat?
Nope. Not in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, there is no license to cheat, in my opinion. I mean, in my opinion, there is no license to cheat. And whatever reason someone thinks is a license to cheat is probably the reason they should leave the relationship, if anything. But the answer is never cheating on your partner. That's not progressive. If you're still with the person, then the expectation should be that you are looking to progress things. And cheating is not progressive at all. So that's the point you're at. You might as well just leave the person. That would be my mindset. Of course, when kids come in the picture, that could change things, but generally that would be my mindset.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's the thing too, because like, to me, I think that when people start suggesting an open relationship format while still being in a relationship, to me, I think that I'm not saying it's a form of cheating, but I think that that's a form of wanting to explore other options, I guess, to me. Because it's like, if you start off the relationship one way, but all of a sudden, okay, let, open it up to something else. Don't you think that may be like, okay, like you want to kind of seek comfort elsewhere, I guess? Or is that just like one of them phase type things?
I mean, I don't have experience in an open relationship, but my assumption would be it is for a physical reason. I would hope someone's not trying to split their emotions between two people. But maybe from a sexual or physical standpoint, they want additional. So they want more. They want more. But the thing is, an open relationship is not just one person's decision. So from that standpoint, I don't consider that cheating at all. Because cheating would be something that goes against the boundaries or the understanding that two people have. So if you're agreeing to an open relationship, and I don't think that's cheating at all, in my opinion, assuming both partners are, they normally are on board with it. That'd be my take on it.
I mean, hey, that's an interesting take. I mean, I've heard stories of people that were in open relationships and stuff like that, and they've done it for like various reasons and stuff like that. But I've yet to hear a story where it actually turned out like the way that they expected it to turn out. You know what I'm saying? Like they expected to still be with their original partner after,
Right.
Because I'm not sure if you guys actually heard stories about those types of things, but typically they don't have a happy ending.
No, and that's why I'm like, I understand it, but I'm still going to say I don't understand why people get into those situations, but I understand why they do. When you're connected with someone on all of those different levels, especially when you tie in the intimacy portion of it, it's not sharing that person, sharing your partner, with someone else as well. It may seem and sound fun in the moment or temporarily, but deep-rooted, deep-seated, nah. You truly, your conscious, your subconscious truly doesn't like it, truly doesn't agree with it.
Yeah, especially if that person's doing a better job and, other people may be doing, you start seeing their reaction and stuff like that. Oh, man, okay, hold on. Okay, I'm not sure about this anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like
look, maybe the grass is greener on the other side.
That's what I'm saying. Like, most people don't consider that. Like, especially when they enter into something like that you don't want to put yourself in a position where you are outshone by someone else there, because that will make a person feel really insecure after that. Like, it's like, okay. Now you got to reel it back in.
That's a sticky situation right there.
Yeah. But I think that they're looking for something that they hope to gain through that, and the real answer is to fix the problem that's right in front of them. And I think that's what ultimately leads to them not working, because they're not fixing anything. They're trying to Band-Aid it. And then after so long, that Band-Aid will rip or whatever. And then you realize this isn't fixing the problem. More problems have surfaced as a result of this. And then you just, I guess, I don't know how it ends, but I would assume it don't go well, and you either walk away from it all, or you're even more, frustrated than you were when you started.
Yeah. You can just turn into one of them entanglement situations.
So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting phenomenon, but yeah.
It is, but that whole premise of, I guess, why cheat though, and that's the thing. I think that everybody's heard those stories about, people that may have been cheated on several times with that same person in their relationship, but I guess they stay in that relationship even after, really being cheated on a few times. Right. And sometimes I think that when people try to stay in, I guess, particular situations like that, I think it does more harm than good sometimes. Like, even when you love a person, sometimes I think that just kind of does more harm than good. Because I think that, that there's a certain level of resentment that gets built up if you had your trust broken that many times.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's just constant trauma over and over and over again. And if a person is choosing to live in that and they're not seeking help, they're not working through the apparent issues that are there, it's just constantly traumatizing yourself by staying there. And that is just, it's doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, that's the thing about, people stepping out though. Would you say that the ratio is more men stepping out or more women stepping out though?
Oh, I don't know the numbers.
If you really think about it.
I don't know the numbers. I will have to look that up because I'm sure that the numbers are out there. I've heard both ways. I started hearing a little bit more that it may be more women than men, and it's just because men are getting caught more. But I wouldn't be able to speak to that certainly without researching it. But what do you think? You have the numbers? What do you think? What's your opinion?
From what I've seen, it's not a split decision. From what I see, okay, it's not a split decision. It's really not. I really don't know the national numbers of it, but from what I've seen, it's more men than women. Okay, that's what I've seen, and sometimes I guess the rationality behind it is not always great, I guess, because it's kind of hard to really rationalize something like that. Like it is. It's kind of hard to rationalize, okay, I went here, done this, and then came back, and then done the same thing with you. So I'm saying, it's kind of weird. It's kind of hard to rationalize that at that point, because it's not really much you can say with that. It's really not.
It's I don't know. I don't know if I agree. There's ways to rationalize it. Now, is the rationalization legitimate? That's the question. That's a question that's to be determined. Okay, but
I think once you've crossed that threshold, whatever rationalization you have, it has to be legitimate, right? It has to be, I guess, valid, because how do you explain to somebody else that obviously you've been in a relationship that long with that person's built up all this trust for you, and you legitimately sit down, tell them, hey, well, we've been in this relationship X amount of years, but I went over here and did this 4 or 5 times. But I love you though. I love you. I want to be in this relationship with you. But I still did this 4 or 5 times. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of hard to. That's kind of hard to rationalize. Like it is. It's very hard to. It's hard to clean that. It's hard to clean that up.
But it happens.
I don't know. It's not hard to rationalize. It's just I get where you're coming from. It's hard to rationalize with good reason, but it does have a rationalization for it. It just might not be reason that resonates with you and your morals. And
it's not my It's not just my morals.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because some people don't feel the same as you do. So it would be you and your morals. Because, like you mentioned, some people are in new relationships where this is happening fairly regularly. So where you or even Nrgy may be in a place where it's a zero tolerance deal. So it all does come down to the individual's view of this act and the severity of it happening and the frequency that may break the camel's back or whatever that looks like. I would need to research this, what I'm about to say, but what I've heard on many occasions is that women view that a bit more seriously than men do, right? And men view sexual intercourse or whatever you look like as just a quick feeling that felt good, and after that they could care less about the person. I know there links and ties to doing these things. But I don't know. I don't think it affects the man as it affects the woman when it comes to these links and ties. Like I said, I don't have data to support that, but I have found that for many men, it's just about life goes on. And then I know a lot of women take that a lot more seriously. It's their body they're giving you. It's, vulnerability. Not all women feel this way, but many do. They feel like, it's something that has to be earned. It's something that, shows great trust or anything or those things, So I think that's why men do step out more, because to them it's just, all right, yep, that looks good. I wanna, indulge. Oh yeah, that was great. All right, let me go back to the woman I love, who I really care about. This was a great little night, but Bay is where the heart's at, and now I'm going back home to my woman.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to me though, if you want to consider it, I think that some people or men step out because of semi-selfish reasons, and the physical aspect of it could be a very selfish reason. But I also think that some men and this is not all men, but some men are poor communicators. So that means that if you are feeling a certain kind of way about something and you're not consistently expressing that to your partner to where they understand that this is a valid, real concern for you that needs to be addressed. If you're not expressing that and you choose to just go ahead and go out and find that somewhere else, that becomes more of a bigger problem, because like I said, that person never let that person really know that this was a real issue. This was something that was very important to them. So it just turns into one of those separate sources of, I guess, real events there. And to be quite fair, it's crazy how much it happens, and it ends up just really hurting a lot more people than just those two people in the relationship, it actually has a way of actually expanding, and if these people have family, friends, or whatever, it can make everybody's situation bad.
I don't know. I think for a lot of men, though, it's not that deep. It's
never that deep, but it turns into that. No.
It does.
Nobody thinks about all this stuff once you're doing it. It's just that basic, specific action in that moment but also what that basic action turns into, is what it typically always turns into, which is, this whole big destruction around the relationship.
Yes, correct. So yeah, the result, I think we can, for it happens where we kind of feel different, because you feel like it's happening because they're unfulfilled somewhere. And I don't think that's necessarily the case as much as you may believe. I think it's just because they're greedy. It's just like, I got a woman, she does everything for me. She's great. They'll literally tell you this. They'll tell the woman that, but on this night, this girl, she had a big butt. She was smiling. She was feeling me. She looked good. I was like, all right, cool. I'm just going, let's do this one time. and then what happens then we can both agree on. But it didn't happen because of, a problem at home. It happened because of some personal development issues, for sure, but yeah, sometimes it just, I think men are just a bit more greedy from that standpoint, and they value that action a lot less. Not all, but many or some. They value that action a lot less, to where if you look good and you showing me the right attention and I feel good enough that night, then and what happens after that is just as we know it.
Interesting.
It's not, I'm telling you, these men be having good women. It's not necessarily.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
And the women always thinks it's them. It's not you. To y'all women out there, it's not y'all per se, not every time. Now, some of y'all, it might be y'all, okay? But, I know in a lot of cases, it's not the woman. It's just the man, and he's probably greedy, he's immature, or he's lacking discipline.
Yeah. Those are some reasons, though. Like, seriously, those are. Yeah. But that's the thing. So would you? I would say that those would be some reasons, or some reasons for men to do it. But I think that for women to do it, I think it tends to be more emotional. For a more emotional reason.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, I honestly feel like the majority of women that are cheating are probably not being fulfilled. Yeah, you got some out here who's just they might be a little more the wrong word, but they're a little more inclined to cheat. But I think many women that are cheating are probably cheating because they're unfulfilled, for sure. Because women just don't want that. From the women I've talked to, they don't want to be in that type of involvement with so many different people. Like that's not safe. That's not healthy for their bodies. So like, there's not a whole lot of benefit that comes from that for a woman when they think about their health and their wellness, and for some, their reputation, whether it's with other women, whether it's for their kids, if they have children, they don't want that many different men being around. So like, all those different things would make it less likely for women to be out there like that, But, there's exceptions to everything.
Yeah, but you're saying like unfulfilled, like based on like what, emotional needs, I guess?
It could be financial. It could be any need that a woman has that they're not getting from their primary partner. Because if they found a man with money, they could gravitate to that because of that reason. And that could promote the behavior that we've described. And they might not really have intended to do that, but that's a need they have. So it just starts to happen. And then I figure something out. I still don't think it's just many times I don't think it's intentional. I think it's just like emotionally you have this need and you see and you're around someone who can feel it, and then things kind of transpire from there.
Yeah, I mean that's I guess an interesting thought though. Like it is. I think most of the time it's an emotional void though. Like that's what I think, because a lot of times people just want to be heard. Like people generally want people to listen to them. Like seriously, because everybody needs to talk to someone. Whatever you believe it or not, everybody needs to talk to somebody.
I agree with that.
I'm just saying.
I agree with that, but I think I don't know, man. I think when people get cheated on, I don't normally hear that as the reason.
I'm just telling you, like,
I'm not saying it's not possible.
Once people get to a certain point in their life and stuff like that, eventually a person gets to a point where they want to stop, I guess, people hopping, I guess. Like going from person to person to person to person and actually have a legitimate relationship. Like an actual good relationship.
Right.
So when they're in that actual good relationship and they find that person is not being considerate, they don't genuinely care about them, they don't genuinely listen to what they're actually saying, they're gonna find that portion elsewhere. Because think about it, you can make money, right? You can buy things, people can get extra jobs to get all this other stuff if they choose to, right? But where are you gonna find somebody that's gonna genuinely listen to you unless you paying them for something? You know what I'm saying? Like, where are you gonna find that at, right? But if you happen to find that person that's doing something that your partner is not doing, which is listening to you, or what it appears like they're listening to you, then you're gonna gravitate to that more. Like you will gravitate to that more because that's something that ultimately you actually want. Like it is. Like I'm just saying, like that's what I've been seeing. Because like I said, there's various reasons why a person would step out. I'll agree with you on that. There's various reasons why a person would step out. But at the end of the day, what are you gonna do with all this information that you may have swimming around in your head outside of talking to yourself? You're gonna talk to somebody. Somebody's gonna have to get that information. Like,
I guess it depends what they need to talk about. Because people have other outlets. They don't have to talk about all these things with their partner. Now, of course, they would like to. So I'm not disagreeing that there could be people stepping out because of the fact that they can't communicate with their partner. Their partner's not listening to them. They don't feel like their partner cares or acknowledges
or understands
their feelings. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like, yeah, that's a legitimate reason. It is a legitimate reason. But I don't know. I feel like in that case, yeah, it is. It is. I feel like that's a reason to leave a man. Not really, not as much as cheat, because that's a big ticket item. Like that's money. Like you said, you can just grab that. So guess what? They're gonna cheat with this random guy, get his money, and now they filled that void. Or whatever it is, like they can cheat on their main person who they really do care about, who's there for them, but doesn't fulfill this one need or whatever it is, and they can just cheat and get that need fulfilled. But that's a big ticket item. If you don't feel like someone cares about you, listens to you, understands you, I think that woman's gone in most of those cases. Because you're not looking for that out of a side piece. That's big ticket. That's like compulsory. Like, all right, you don't get me. You don't care about me. So I think that's the reason a woman leaves. If a woman's cheating in that case, and they're cheating for that, I don't know. That just seems a little bit off for me.
I'm just saying that happens a lot from to me, and just my perception. That happens a lot from the woman's standpoint, right? But this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
Even if what you're saying is, I guess, somewhat like factual, if a woman steps out, finds that alternative person to communicate with or whatever, which slowly just turns into something physical after that emotional thing gets built, then yeah, I would kind of agree with you. That person is pretty much checked out of that particular relationship. But on the other side of that, if a man does that, it may not be always for an emotional standpoint or whatever. But in turn, that person would probably tend to come back to that same relationship or whatever, versus the woman just completely stepping away for the relationship. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, with the guy, I can see him splitting time. I can see him splitting time. Where the women might not. They might just go. I can see from that emotional standpoint, I can see the guy splitting time. Because to get item, we want that, but I think for women, that's kind of like a must. Like, we really do want it,